I'm sorry, I forgot my little tripod thing to hold my phone up. So what you're seeing right now is me holding my phone up. I was gonna put it in this other thing, but I think that it's gonna block the microphone if I were to do that. So I wouldn't do it in that way. But cool. Thank you so much for joining. Yesterday's live was incredible, and I think we're gonna have another incredible live this evening. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you what I got up to today, working on the rating system that we added in. So this rating system is, if you're new here, we are creating the Mzansi directory. What the Mzansi directory is it's a place for us to find and support people and businesses across Mzansi. And also it'll be a way for us to call, email, navigate, and visit the business's websites or the business themselves. And on top of that, what we're going to do, just to make it a little bit easier for you to select the correct business or to know that this business is the correct business for you, what we're going to do is we're adding a rating system. So this rating system, we built it together with the people of Mzansi, or we designed it together with the people of Mzansi. And over there, yeah, so let me show you what I got up to. Sorry, let me stop yapping. Let me show you what I got up to. So let me switch the screen. Perfect. Let me move. Yeah, perfect. So if we have a look here, let me flip the camera for you. Flip. Yeah, just over here. So if you have a look, we're looking at the Mzansi directory on the right hand side of the screen. If we were to click on this and then search for just one of our test businesses under the person side, that's production, or that's the live one. So I'm showing you the development environment. So if I go a little bit closer, you'll see that we have localhost at the top of the screen. So this is just the development version of MIH. Hello everyone, thank you so much for the likes. Thank you for joining the live tonight. So under the Mzansi directory, we'll search for a business. So I'll just search MIH, and you'll see in the search bar itself, it has the person icon. So that means you're searching for the people of Mzansi. If we were to select the switch icon, it switches over to the businesses of Mzansi, and now we have the MIH Doctor Network. If we click on this, so this, you've seen this already. We have the ratings, what this business's rating currently is sitting at. Thank you so much for the likes. We have the you can call, email, navigate, and rate them. So this is the new function, and yesterday we were working on it, trying to get it up and running, but there were some problems that we were facing with alignment and all of this, but we managed to fix it, and I figured out what the problem was. It was such a silly issue, but I'll tell you what it was. So now if we click on this, we have our new rating screen. So it's add rating, the business's rating, so you can click on it to select the stars that you want. Let me know if you like the color. It's just the standard blue, but if you want like a yellow color, we can add that in. That's just a toggle that we can do. Then you can add your title. So you'll see that if we try and click add now, it'll say some fields are missing. If we click on this, you'll see that at the top, the title is a required field, but not the description. So I know some people just like to put a one sentence or a few words in. Don't really want to type a whole long story over here for us. So that's why we made description optional. And we have our rating and stuff. At the moment, when you click on it, even if everything was filled out, nothing will happen. So I'll show you now. Let's type some information. Nothing will happen because I haven't plugged it in at the moment. So you can see I'm using my laptop to develop in today, not the MacBook, like the other lives. But that's because I'm in a different location right now, but that's okay. So I'll show you what that error was. So if we were to close all of this, I also made a few changes to the search algorithm that we are using. I don't want to call it algorithm, but I don't want to call it algorithm because it's not really an algorithm. It's just a standard select all statement, but we tweaked it a little bit to look for specific columns and not what's the word that I'm looking for? Specific columns and not a few columns like previously. Like we weren't even looking for first name and last name. I was just looking at username, email, and that's that. But now we're looking at what stuff inside your purpose. We're looking at stuff, your first name, last name. So all of these fields, email, all of them are being searched for when you search for someone through the Mzansi directory. So yes, like I was showing you, how we fixed that is, this is under business view, or it's under the business card, so not under the directory. Under personal profile, we have this. Then under components, we have the business information tab. Sawubona, nice to see you here this evening. Like it, I like the likes coming through, loving the likes. So what we did over here, if I were to scroll down, I'll show you where that issue was, and I'll bring that issue back. I think I just commented it out. I didn't really remove it completely. Oh, not build context, none of that. It should be at the bottom. If we scroll. Yes, there's it over here. So you'll see I have it commented out already. But the width under our text field, there was a width. If we leave this out, it's dynamic. It scales with how much space it has. But because we put the width in, it didn't expand. It stayed at the right size. Thank you so much for the likes. I see them flying through. I'm seeing them fly through. We are available on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick if you are interested. But yes, this was the error. Let me minimize this and open up our dev mode. So this is our dev mode. I'll just make it a little bit smaller for us. Close that. Yeah. So as you can see, now it's looking good, right? This is the development environment. But if I were to comment this out and then save again, so control that, and then I am going to wait. Are you guys able to hear me on TikTok? Let me know in the chat if you're able to hear me. I put my phone somewhere just to stand it up. Is your app launched yet? 100% it is launched. So I'll show you on the screen right now. If we were to go to just Google, right? If you are interested in MIH and what we're doing right now, all you have to do is go onto Google and search 5 out of 5, 100%. All you have to do is search Mzansi Innovation Hub on Google. And what you'll see there is you can see the MIH app is at the top of the list, and below that we have Mzansi Innovation Hub. So if you're using an Android device, you can go to the Google Play Store. If you're using an Apple device, you can go to the App Store. Or if you just want to use the web version, you can search for us on Google. So if you click on it, it'll take you to app.mzansiinnovationhub.co.za. And you can create an account, sign up over there. So we have launched. We are currently on version 1.1.12. But we are improving it as we go along. So please feel free to download it now and let me know what you think. So heading back over, or looking back at our add reviews window, we've added this new field called, thank you so much for the follow, I appreciate you, AutoX, I appreciate you. Don't forget to download MIH and create an MIH account. So we've added, or in order to fix the sizing issue that we had yesterday, it was this thing, because remember we copied and pasted from our other code, and yeah, we copied and pasted from our other code, and this was just something else that we were testing in the test package. So if we were to remove this as it was before and save it, thank you so much Clint for the follow, I appreciate you. Now let's head back over to the Mzansi directory and open up that add review window. So click on the Mzansi directory, search for MIH, under not the people, so I want to search for the businesses of Mzansi, and you'll see under the rate us, you see how small it was. So that's what was happening yesterday. So yesterday it was very tiny, and we weren't able to scale it up or increase the size of it because I think there was too much, the conversations were lit and I was focused on the conversations, not so much on the code. But today when I started coding, I realized that, or even last night while I was just about to fall asleep, I was thinking about this and I realized that no, I might have just put a fixed width inside there. So if we remove that, and if we were to save and head back over to the Mzansi directory and MIH, under the business side. Now when we click on rate us, we have this field over here. It's expanded now, so it expands to however far we want it to be. So that's what we fixed. So because I'm on my laptop right now, I haven't set up the database backend stuff over here in the development environment over here. I'll have to fix that and also find out a way of automating this using Docker, of creating my tables, creating my columns, things like that, to make it easier when we're switching over. But because of that, I'm not able to develop for the, what is this? I'm not able to develop for, or to start using the APIs, because those APIs connect to the database to pull information from there. So we're not able to do that because it's not set up over here. And I don't have the tables close to me and the columns close to me, so I'm not able to replicate it on my side. But I'll work on that and see how things are going over there. Cool. So what can we do today? So there's another thing that we'll have to do also, is I'll add it in here. There's probably a better way of doing this. Let's do this, right? So let me try and explain what I want to do. So this review window over here, right? So when someone clicks on rate us, it should open up a add review window where you can capture your rating, your title, and the description, and then add your review in. However, I don't want one person spamming reviews for one business, right? And skewing the results of the business's ratings. So we're going to put something in place to restrict a rating. So you are only allowed to rate a business once and only once. And then thereafter, you're allowed to edit your rating if things change. So that's what we want to do today. Want to set up today. Let me know in the chat if you think that's a good idea. Do you think that you, as a person of Mzansi, should only... Thank you so much for sharing the live, Clint. I really appreciate you. So if you want to rate a business, I wouldn't want to rate them multiple times, right? But what I would want to do is, I would, if it was a bad experience, rate them bad, if it was such a bad experience. But then if they came to me and made things right and correct things, or the next time I go, I had a much better experience because they fixed the experience, then I can go and edit my review instead of adding another review on top of my negative review. So that's what we want to do. And I'll show you, we'll figure it out together how to do it. And it'll be a little bit tricky right now because our APIs are not set up for us. But, so what I want to do is, if this is your first time rating a business, you click on this, it'll open up the add ratings window, right? But if it's not your first time and you've already rated them and you click on rate us, it'll be edit review. So it'll pull your information for the rating and it'll add that there. So let me just check something quickly over here. Yeah, everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. So let me minimize this. Cool. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to try and jump over it to see what happens, but I'll show you what the code looks like right now and we'll work on that. So let's close this. So the part that we're going to work on is this add. So you know what, I think I should remove the word add over here because it's not representing what I'm trying to do, right? So if I just x insert and then just put business review rating window, right? Because it's going to be used for both adding and reviewing, or adding and editing your review, right? So how we do that, I'm just going to put a variable in over here, right? A Boolean variable. So a Boolean is either true or false. And then call this previously rated. Previously rated, put a comma over there. And let's go down to our error. Let's go down to our, or up to our error. And fix this over here. WCW business. And then over here, so we'll start it off by putting false in, right? So that's what we're going to work off. So if someone puts, or if it's not someone's first time, or if it previously rated, so it's not, they haven't previously rated this, right? That's the variable that I call this. Let's jump back to this definition. So you can see over here, previously rated. So if I haven't previously rated them, it would be set as false. So that's what we did now. So if it's set as false, what's cool with Flutter is what you can do in the widgets is I don't have to type a if statement over here. What I can do is I can just type. There's a very fancy way of doing if statements inside like a parameter over here for a widget. So what I can do is it's called previously. So append previously rated. So if previously rated, then if previously rated. So if it's not previously rated, let me do that. If it's not, so I'll put the exclamation over there to represent not. Remember guys, if you want to see my full screen and it's not so clear on TikTok, you can switch over to YouTube, Twitch and Kick. We are available over there and you can see the full screen and the full experience is over there. Please feel free to follow us that side. So what I'll do, let me make this a little bit bigger for you also. Let me not be difficult. So yeah, over here. And what we can do is, Salbona Jay, nice to see you here this evening. Nice to see you here this evening. So let's switch this. Let's make this full screen. Right. So what we're doing over here is I want to change the title of our window. So if you have a look over here, if we click rate us, you'll see there's a title of this window called add review. Right. So if it's add review, or yeah, if you haven't previously added a review to this business, you're going to add a review. If you've already added a review, you're going to edit your review. That's the logic that we're working off of. Right. So let's close this, go back to our code. So remember we added in this variable called previously rated. So the previously rated now under the, so this is the if statement, right? So under our window title, what I just showed you, if it's not, so that's what the exclamation is. If it's not previously rated, that means it's your first time rating it. We're going to put add review. But if it's not, so the else part, then you're going to say edit review. You see? So this is the cool if statement that you can use inside Flutter to make it easy. Instead of putting a whole if this, and then you put an else in, and then you add all the different things. No, it's simple. So it's not previously rated, then you put add review, else you put edit review. So let's see what that looks like, right? So if we go back, I'll just close this and open it up to refresh it, and it should say add review, right? Correct, so it's saying add review. Now if we change that, so if I come here and GD, sorry, GD, it takes me back here. And if I change this to true now, so now I have previously rated this. If we save this, head back over to dev MIH, back to the Mzansi directory. Sorry, when I'm using the web version of MIH and we save, it doesn't hot reload and save the state of the application. It takes me back to the home screen of MIH. So it's a little bit tedious every time saving and then going back in, but it's because we're using the web version and how we're handling the URL at the top. So over here, now if we click on rate us, what should happen is we should see edit review at the top of the screen. If we click on this, edit review. So now we have a dynamic way to switch between if someone has previously rated or someone is new to rating this. That's what we're doing. The next thing that we'll have to do is, so pulling the information I can handle a little bit later when the API is working. What we also have to do is, at the top of here, we need to add a menu button. If it's in edit review mode, we need to add a menu button at the top there, so that to give the person the option to delete their review. So if they had a bad review and maybe the business made it up to them or something like that, and they want to delete their review. Now, instead of changing it to a good review, thank you so much for the follow. And I'm seeing there's people over on Twitch, Neil, we're over on Twitch giving us hearts. I appreciate it. So we're going to add a menu button over there. Once again, we are going to cheat and do this, but what do I want to do? So the menu button. So this menu button, if we go back here, it's further down. So I'll just scroll down a bit. So there should be not this, it should be at the top. Should be at the top over here. It's another property that we can add in. I think it's, yeah, menu options. And they're taking a speed dial, right? So a speed dial is, we'll head over to our test package and I think we'll just steal it from there. And I'll show you what that looks like. So we did make it easy when we were creating this MIH window. We did make it easy to add in menu buttons and things like that. Kutso, nice to see you here. I see you really like the lives. Nice to see you here. I appreciate that you're here. How's things going with your Spring Boot journey? Is it hard? Is it tough? Are you enjoying it? Does it all make sense? Is APIs easy that way? Because my first time trying to wrap my head around APIs, it was quite a journey. It was quite an experience. So let me know in the chat what you think of that. Or how's your journey going? Let's open this up. And what we're going to do is, not get body, so up. Let's change this. Up, 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 up. Down, down, down. Evening, Dev. Salbona. Nice to see you here. Nice to see you here. So the thing that we're looking, you see, if you have a look over here, we're just cheating. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. Let me know in the chat. It's alright. So Kutso is saying, so he just started his journey of learning, or creating his own API layer for his application because he wants to persist information in his database. So I think it's around bookings and stuff. Let me read this quickly before it disappears. It's alright, man. I have a bit of prior experience in software development. School, lol, so not. Okay, nice. Not particularly hard. Yeah, I think the scariest thing is beginning. But once you start beginning, things run smoothly. Just have to remind myself of Java. Yeah, after a couple days of dev, everything will be fine. Everything will be perfect. But what I wanted to show you here is this thing, the speed dial. So what I want to do is I want to yank, how many down? 17 down, yank 17 down, and then we can head over back here and then add it in. Please accept my request. What is your request? What is the request for? I'm not seeing any request. If it's a follow request, I always follow back, so you don't have to worry about that. After live, I'll definitely, but I think we're following each other. Nice to see you. Nice, thank you so much for the follow. So now that we added our speed dial child in, so that's basically our menu option. So now if we open up the dev mode again, open up the Mzansi directory. Remember, it's the place to search for people and businesses of Mzansi, right? So we're looking specifically for businesses. That's what we're working on. Add that in. Click here, click on rate us. And nice. Now you see we have our menu option at the top. Requested to join the live. I'm so sorry, Hendrik. We're not doing that today. Unfortunately, I'll try set something up a later stage to have a conversation with all of you. But you see, there's our menu option, right? Quick thing that we have to, it's just an option on our side, but we want to change this to delete. And also what we want to do is, thank you for understanding, Hendrik, but I'll definitely make a plan to see how best to do this, right? How best to have a conversation with all of us together, right? Whether it's through TikTok, because the reason why I'm doing that, Hendrik, is because I'm not only streaming on TikTok or live on TikTok. So if we do the TikTok live conversation thing, then the people on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick won't be able to see your face and hear what we're saying, right? So we have to find a better way of doing this so that we can see your screen on the face, and on the other platforms they can also see what's happening, right? It'll be a much better experience that way. But I'll keep that in mind. So you can see this says show new window and an add button. But I want to change this. I don't want to say show new window because I want to say delete review. I've been having problems trying to change my splash screen. Are you also using Flutter? Use OBS with TikTok Live Studio. So Kutso, unfortunately, Hendrik, we'll get to your question now. So I'm having a problem changing the splash screen. Cool. So TikTok keeps banning me because I've been using OBS through Restream, but because I'm using Ubuntu, you can see if I press the menu button, this is the Ubuntu screen, right? I'm not using Windows, and the TikTok Live Studio is only for Windows. So I've been trying to figure that out, but I'm not sure. So splash screen. So Hendrik, what kind of framework are you using? Are you using React? Are you using Flutter? You're using Flutter and Dart, Node.js for the backend, React for the web. Hendrik, why don't you use Flutter for the web dev also? Just a question, but I'm using a specific package on my side. So let's go to my pubspec, right? So for those that don't know Flutter, the pubspec file is where all your third-party packages live. So I'm using there's it over here, Flutter Native Splash. Let's copy this and head over to Chrome, and we're gonna go to pub.dev, right? Yeah, very strange that you're using React for web when Flutter does provide that functionality. But if React for me is more flexible for web dev. I get you. I know a lot of the packages for Flutter aren't really for web dev stuff. So how I'm trying to get around this is I'm going to restrict that functionality for the mobile application and push people there instead of them using the web app. But I do agree with you that is thingy. But it's so much logistics also because now you have to have two code bases for the exact same thing. But I hear you. So if you want a splash screen, so if I load MIH up again, right? So let's close this and search for Mzansi Innovation Hub. So I'll show you, for those that don't know what a splash screen is, when you first open up MIH, that thing that you just saw. So it went by extremely quickly. Let me reload. So you see where it says powered by MIH at the bottom, right? It goes very quickly, right? So that's a splash screen. So instead of having a blank screen over here that your users are confused, is the website frozen, what's happening? They are greeted with a splash screen, this thing over here, and that will show them that something is loading. So what we are using at MIH is Flutter Native Splash, right? Flutter Native Splash. So there's some examples over here. So this is a splash screen before it enters your application, the moment before that. So while loading the application up, and yeah, so right now that's a splash screen. So I didn't do it from scratch. I just used this thing and I followed the instructions, right? So how do we use pub.dev for those that don't know, right? First things first, you have to check what platforms is it available on. So you can see this is available. Okay, before we even go on to what platforms it's available on, let's check when was it last updated. So you can see this was updated 3 months ago, which is fairly recently. And that means the people haven't abandoned this. They still using it. Another green flag is, you can see this is Flutter favorites. That means Flutter themselves like this package and probably Google themselves use this package for their splash screens. That's just my opinion. The next thing, after we see how old it is, then we see what platforms it's available on. This package is available for Android, iOS, and the web. So this is perfect for MIH because we're on all three platforms. Next thing that we have to look for is, if we scroll down, we have to look at what the license is. It's the MIT license. For those that don't know, and I did do some research previously, or the other evening. So let's ask Mzansi, what is the MIT license? Let me increase my volume over here and let's see. So it's thinking, give it some time to think. And let's listen.
Hey there, hand waving. You're asking about the MIT license. That's awesome. It's a really popular and permissive open source license. Think of it as a set of rules that allow people to use, copy, modify, and distribute software freely. Basically, if a project is released under the MIT license, you can do almost anything with it.
I'll stop it over there because it's going to talk long stories. So basically what the MIT, it's the most popular license out yet, was created by MIT, the school, the university. And it's basically an open source license, and it's the most permissive license, as Mzansi AI said to us. So what that means is, if, let's see this. So because this uses the MIT license, we can go ahead and look at the GitHub repository where all their code is available. So you can see at the top, Flutter native what. Let's increase the size for our people on TikTok. So yeah, Flutter native splash. So what I can do is I can fork this. You can see multiple people fork this. I can fork this and make it closed source because it uses the MIT license. So now that we saw that, okay, everything is fine with how frequently they've updated this package. It's available on our package, and we agree with the license that it uses. Now we can go ahead and see obviously what's new and see how to use it, right? So usage. So this is how we add it to our pub spec file. So you add that in. Once you have that, there's two options. You can either, thank you so much, Smart Money, for the follow. I appreciate you. you can either add it to your pubspec file. So you can go through this. You'll have to copy this. I'll show you what mine looks like. It's also, I added it to my pubspec file because I was a little bit, did I add it there? Yeah, there's it over here at the bottom. You know DDoS. So is that the attack? So because I'm not too familiar with it, let's ask Mzansi what DDoS is. Please explain what DDoS is. Right? So smart money, to answer your question, we can ask Mzansi AI for that. I'll get back to you. Who was it, Hendrik?
Hey there, hand waving. So, you want to know about DDoS? No worries, I can break it down for you. Smile. DDoS stands for Distributed Denial of Service. Think of it like this. Imagine a popular restaurant that gets flooded with way more customers than it can handle. The restaurant becomes overwhelmed, and nobody can actually get a table, even though there are plenty of empty seats.
Okay, so you are speaking about the attack, so I'm not too familiar with that, if I'm being honest. Why? What? Do you have any specific question about it? We can ask Mzansi and see if it's correct. But yes, like I was saying to Hendrik, once you've added the package, the Flutter Splash package to your pub spec file, you would then add your configurations for your splash screen here, right? So I think this is for branding bottom. Yeah, so this is it over here. Denial of service. Probably. But yeah, so you'll add that in. Now you have your color. So the color of the background. So if we look at MIH and we reload this, the color of the splash screen is the main colors of MIH, right? So that's what you're seeing right here. Then the next thing that we have to add is the image in the middle of the screen. So the MIH logo is what we're using. So you see it pops up there, MIH logo. The next thing that we'll have to add in is the branding. So branding, you can see branding mode is at the bottom. So branding is the powered by MIH thing. So if we go, you'll see, look very quickly, it's powered by MIH. I specified color, yet didn't work. Interesting. So are you, very interesting. So if you're having trouble with Android 12, so there's an Android 12 section. So if you're testing this out on Android, and it's probably you haven't done this Android 12 thing, I'm assuming, but I know you have to add that in also. But this should work. Maybe your configurations is not 100% correct. The branding size, or the padding over there, Android 12. Yeah, this is my configurations. So if we go back and, yes, I'm using Android as my emulator. Yeah, so just make sure with the Android side, we'll go to the documentation also, and we'll see what they're telling us over here. So if we head over, so physical device, okay, hi, store card is no more. I don't have my physical cards. Is there a solution? So very interesting question. So at the moment, there's no way to import things from store card into MIH. You're gonna have to manually scan them one by one. So I feel bad for saying this, but I'm not sure how to assist you with it other than just, so is store card not even opening up for you anymore? What a bad end of life service to you. I'm not sure how to help because there's no way to import cards other than to manually click on the menu button and click on add cards, right? That's the only way that you can do it with MIH at the moment. But I'm hearing your cries and we'll try and figure it out. So I'm using my Android device as my emulator. Thank you so much, Mkoli, for the follow. So using your physical device. So if we scroll down to the bottom right, make sure you read this documentation because it's super important over here. Setup and initialization. So did you make sure that you added this to your main file, right? So the Flutter native splash.preserve thingy, and this has to be just below the thingy. Whenever you initialization is complete, remove this. Make sure you have this. I think this could also be the problem, but we'll move on to the next one. Android 12 plus support. This might be your issue, right? This could be the issue with the things. So if you're using Android 12, you have to specify Android 12 at the bottom. If it's not Android 12, it uses the default for both iOS, Android, and all the other platforms. But Android 12 specifically, you have to put this one in. If you don't put this one in, it won't work. Okay, so please, when we come to MIH, please have a place to have our cards stored in the future. Please have our cards stored for future. Wait. I don't think I'm reading this properly. Okay, so please, when we come to MIH, please have a place to have our cards stored for future. So MIH stores your cards for the future. Look at what people are doing over here. In case you crash. So no problem. So our things are persisted. Let me you see what people are doing with the test account. Love. Update. Please explain more. Please explain the properties under splash. Okay. So or something happens. No, I definitely get you. So what MIH does currently as we speak is we have our normal server and we have the backup server to push your data over there also. So we do have backups of your data in case the main server crashes. It is over on the other one. So you don't have to stress about that. If both our things crash, then that's when we start stressing. But at the moment, it's both places. So let's speak. So Hendrik wants to know more about the properties under Splash. All right. So this is basically the part that you want to focus on, right? Don't worry about the stuff at the bottom. Yeah, don't worry about the stuff at the bottom. This is if you're creating a separate file, but if you're putting it inside your pubspec file, you can add this in directly. What is MIH? Love the question. Thank you. I appreciate you, King, for such great feedback. So what is MIH? Hendrik, if you want to know more about MIH, please feel free to ask Mzansi. So you can just say, what is MIH all about? So we'll give it some time to think. We'll head back over to my pubspec in a minute. But I'll first answer your question about what MIH is all about.
Hey there, hand waving. Mzansi Innovation Hub, MIH, is all about empowering South Africa. Think of the MIH app as your all-in-one toolkit for both your personal and business life. We're a startup from right here in Mzansi, and we built this app to make things easier for everyone. Essentially, the MIH app streamlines your life by bringing together tools for managing your professional profile, ***, keep all your work info in one place. Team collaboration, ***.
So like it said, I liked saying that MIH is the first super app of Mzansi, and its main purpose is to make your lives, both your personal and your professional lives, easier. So what features does MIH have? That's another question that you could ask. What features does MIH have? Right? Many features are out there. So I won't let Mzansi AI speak, but we have the Mzansi profile. So the Mzansi profile is a central hub to control your profiles, whether it's business or personal. We have the Mzansi wallet. The Mzansi wallet is a place for you to store your loyalty cards digitally inside the Mzansi wallet, right? The patient manager. It's mainly for medical practices, but it's both for personal and business users. I'll jump into that. So the personal side is it gives you access to a patient profile where you keep all your information like doctor's notes, medical certificates, prescriptions, x-rays, quotes, all of these things, right, get stored in your patient profile. On the patient manager side for the businesses, the patient manager is a place for doctors to plug into your data and seeing what other previous consultations and appointments you've had, just to get a sense of what kind of patient are you, instead of starting from scratch if they're a new doctor. Thank you so much for all the likes. The next thing that we have is Mzansi AI, what we're using right now to answer our questions. Next is the Mzansi directory, what we're working on. It's a place for us to search for people and businesses across Mzansi. The calendar, business and personal calendar, just to make simple appointments. Calculator, simple calculations, or a tip and forex calculator. If you want to jump into that, you can let us know. And then we have the MIH access. So remember, we're dealing with, thank you so much, Jay, for the praise. So remember, we're dealing with sensitive information under the person or the patient manager. So a doctor cannot just have access to your medical records out of nowhere. No person can just have access to your medical records. But once you grant them permission to it, then they'll have access to it. So that's what the MIH access controls is all about. So when a doctor requests access to your profiles, or in the future, if we have any other accesses out there, you'll be able to accept them having access to that profile, right? So that's what MIH is all about. But we are moving. There's many more features coming. After we sort out the Mzansi directory, what we're going to do is, or what I would like to do is, create a to-do list. But there's many ideas. Jay gave me a list of ideas. My family gave me a list of ideas. So there's many ideas out here. So we're constantly working on things, and we're not creating a separate app for just one feature and then calling it a day. I want one central place, which is MIH, to have all of the functionalities, right? So we have our patient profile, Mzansi wallet, or Mzansi profile, sorry, Mzansi directory, calendar, Mzansi AI calculator, access controls, and about MIH. So that's on the personal side. On the business side, we have the exact same thing over there. We just have the patient manager and business profile. So that's what it's all about. Heading back over to the pub spec file. Let's go back to our code. So let's close this and let's look at our configurations correctly, right? So Hendrik, you can, I don't know if you want to copy and paste what you have or send me a DM or something on TikTok and show me what yours looks like, and then we can have a look at it. But under your pub spec file, you'll have a new category over here called Flutter Native Splash with a semicolon at the end. I think that's or colon at the end, one of those two. Then you select the color that you want the splash screen. Remember, these features over here are going to be put in for the web and for iOS, right? And for any Android device younger than Android 12 plus. So then the next property that you'll have to add in is the image. The image is, like I showed you, let's go back here, like I showed you. If we load it up, that logo that appears very quickly, that's what the image, that's the image that they're talking about. So if we have a look, this image is probably your company's logo, whatever you want the user to see while they're waiting for the application to load up. The branding is the thing at the bottom. I think if you look at Meta's apps, it'll say powered by Meta. I copied their stuff and I put powered by Mzansi Innovation Hub at the bottom of ours, right? So that's your branding. Then the branding mode is the positioning, whether you want it at the top, whether you want it at the bottom, anywhere around there, right? Then the padding. If you don't add this padding in, that branding that's at the bottom of the screen will be right at the bottom. I wanted a little bit of a space over there, so I added 24, whatever 24 is, maybe pixels or whatever, branding to it. Then the important part, which I'm assuming is where the issue is coming in for you, is the Android 12 section. So this is if you want your device to work on Android 12 plus. Remember, most devices, even your cheap devices, they have Android 12 on it, right? Android 12 plus on it, most of them. So you would have a Android 12 category, and you would add the same things that you added here. These three things. So the color, the branding, and the imaging. You would copy that and paste it in over here and just indent it a bit. Thank you so much, Ora, for the follow. I appreciate you. I hope that answered your question, and I hope that fixes your problem also. I'm 100% sure that this is the thing that's going to fix it. What Android version are you on, so that we can know? And I'm assuming you don't have this in. But cool, yes, moving on to our code. So what I showed you earlier is we added a new menu button in. This menu button shows us, at the moment it says, show new window. But what I wanted to say is add or delete review and put a bin icon over there. So in order to do that, very simple. What we can do is head over here, scroll down to the bottom. So instead of the add icon, so let's delete this and say delete. Delete. We'll use the standard delete icon. And over here, I'll change inside quotes. And I'll change this to, you see, Copilot is hooking me up with some hints over here. So cool. Now if we go back, I'll answer your question right now. Now if we go back and go to the Mzansi directory, hey, could you use AI to code as long as you know the language or a knowing of how to code from scratch? So Very nice question, and I think someone asked me that last night in my DMs, but I'll answer you now. Hold that thought for us. So I want to show you what changed after the update that we did. Now, if we go and rate us and click on the menu button, it now says, if you can see, delete review, right? So now we have everything ready for us, but now we need to make this dynamic, because if we change it to add review, it's still going to be there. It's going to be confusing. But let's answer Ora's question. So his question is, can someone use AI to code as long as they know the language that they're being coded in, right? So say, for example, I want to create a Python project. Is it advisable for me to start off by using AI to code, and then just because I know the language, right, and I know how to code from scratch? So I would suggest don't use AI code builders at the moment, right? Because I feel like there's too many. AI's code completely different to how we code. They like to, what's the word I like using? Over engineering, that's the word. They like over engineering the solution, right? And it's much more complex than what we would do as normal human beings, right? So what I would suggest you doing is, you can use AI to help you code, but use that as an assistant to you, not as your main focus. You are not the AI's assistant. The AI is your assistant, right? So that's how you're going to have to use it. So if you're having a problem, so I'll show you how I use it. If you're using VS Code, let me know what IDE, what coding platform you're using to code in. So how you can use it, there's multiple ways of doing this. If you can use Copilot at the top, and you can see I even used it today. I gave it my code file. I asked it the question, how would I dispose the listener, right? I was lazy to figure that out. And then it gave me the code, and then you can use this inside your currently existing code, because you know how this code works. You can even specify in your question, please make sure you follow the coding style of the file, and then it won't deviate or over engineer for you. I hope that answers your question. So please, if you are coding something, I think start off from scratch, build a foundation, and then start using AI to assist us, to augment this, right? Thank you for the clarity. I am still self-learning through Codecademy. So we all out here learning, Ora. Even myself, I'm also out here learning. And I use AI all the time to assist me in coding, and even AI teaches me things that I've never heard of. There's this one widget that AI taught me, Gemini taught me. So if I Control plus, okay, let's put it down over, where can we put this? Around this padding, right? Control dot, let me just add another widget. So what AI taught me just not too long ago, CW, is inherited. For those that were here in the previous lives, you would know this one, but inherited with, I think, word, something like that. Inherited, I don't know if I'm able to do it here, but it was inherited or intrinsic, sorry, but intrinsic, there's it, intrinsic height. If you look over here, intrinsic height, and then there's an intrinsic width. So instead of telling AI, create a button for me, right? Then it comes back with a button that I don't even know how this button is coded up. What I would do is I would code up a nonsense button, because I'm still learning coding, a very simple button in the beginning, and then I'll take that button code, I'll give it to my AI, and I'll say, please improve or please give a shadow effect to this button. Then it's forced to use your code and enhance it, instead of creating a brand new code just to add shadow in. So that's how I use AI, and it makes the learning process much quicker, much simpler. So that's the best, I think that's the best way of how to use AI. Undo, perfect. Oh, redo, perfect. Delete review. So yeah, so what I did was we added the delete review item in, but what we need to do over here is kind of make this null. Yeah, so this is a nullable field. So in the beginning, I'm going to use that same if statement that I showed you previously. So we can say if it's not, or escape append, if it's not previously rated, then you do this. Oh, sorry, not that, comma, that, and then hopefully this works. Don't laugh if it doesn't work, guys. We're learning. Not that now. Perfect. right? So our errors have disappeared. So basically what this code is saying is if this business has not been previously rated by you, so that's what this line means, then, which is the question mark, is the then display this, the menu options, else just put null, so it removes that menu option from us. So if we head back over to our code, that's what we're expecting to see, right? So if we go back in and search MIH, sorry, not this one, not the test profile. We have to be on the business side. So if you have a look over here, we're on the personal side. If we switch over, we're now on the business side. And I want this one. So now if we click on it, now it's disappeared, but it's on edit review. It's disappeared, but it's on edit review. Interesting. I think, okay, my bad. Let's remove this to not confuse us. So can I say yank around quotes? Nice. Let's paste this in here. Append, let's add that in, and then over here we can just delete the rest of it. So D until the end and add a comma in. Cool. So now they should be working fine if it's previously, and then we can go back and remove this one. So now it should be working fine. Now, well, I hope it's working fine. Now if we go back into the Mzansi directory, we MIH, search for it, and then switch. Yo, why am I using my trackpad? Switch and then go back in. Now we can see when it's in edit mode, edit review mode, we have a menu option and we can delete, right? But if we switch it over to and change it from true to false over here, to false, what the expected result should be is the title of this window should say add review, and there shouldn't be a menu option over there for us. So once again, head over to the Mzansi directory, switch over to the businesses, MIH, enter. Yep, as expected, we have add review, no menu option. So it looks like our logic is working fine inside MIH. So, excuse me, let me have some water. So the logic behind this, or the business logic, I think that's what they use it in corporate environments. The business logic is, if someone hasn't reviewed this business before, show them the add review screen. If someone has reviewed the business before, show them the edit review screen with a menu option to delete their review. That's the current logic that we are using. And that's fine, and then we click on it, we still have our validation over there. Everything is perfect. Is there any other questions from any of the people of Mzansi? How's the chat looking over on Twitch? Is it looking good? Nice, I'm seeing the likes. Okay. Let me head back over to the thing. I see there's another question. Okay, thank you for the clarity. Okay, sweet. What else can we get up to? Which language did you use for your backend? Okay, so which language? Why is the REST profile editable to the? Why is the REST profile, test profile editable to the public? So that's something that we added in to entice people to use MIH in the beginning. So I'll get to your question, Hendrik. Let's answer Jay's question. So the question is, why is there a test profile, and why can people outside of MIH use it, right? So in the beginning, when we were first starting off, it is a very hard thing for to ask someone to create an account to use your application, right? You have to entice them to use it. You have to show them the potential of your application. And that's why we had the sandbox profile, so that you can use it and play around with MIH. But after seeing, so clearly we are growing and we are having trolls also. So we're going to have to remove that from there, which is okay. It's not a problem. So we'll remove that. So in the next update, we're going to remove that. So to answer your question, Hendrik, if we head over to my backend, right? Let's head over to my roots and let's look at the Mzansi directory. So we're using Python, we're using Fast API. So if you can have a look at the top, Fast API is our API layer. And yeah, that's what we are using. And super token is the authentication, right? I have a, let's go to Canva. So I want to show you something that we designed together as the people of Mzansi. In one of our last streams, or sorry, they're making me sign in again. So in our previous lives, someone asked a very similar question and we designed something together. That was quite cool. Oh my word. Yes, it's me. Can you guys see on TikTok? Sorry, I had to authenticate myself. So yeah, in the previous lives, we designed something together, and just to design something to explain what the structure of things are looking like. So if we head back over, oh, I'm using the wrong one, but anyway, that's fine. That's why I had to log back in. But here, so this is what it's looking like. So we're not using React over here, we're using Flutter. So we're using Fast API as our API layer. So can you keep the test? The test shouldn't store any data to the server. Very interesting, very interesting. We can definitely do that, Jay. We can definitely work at that to see how we can sort that out. Yeah, great suggestion by Jay. Follow him, guys. Give him a like. Tap the screen. Maxwell, thank you so much for the follow. So yes, to answer your question, Hendrik, we are using Fast API as the technology for our backend, our API layer. And this technology uses Python as its language. So I wouldn't say that I'm using Python as my backend. I'm using Fast API as my backend. And it just so happens that Fast API uses Python. So Python is the backend. Right? And this is how it's, not everything, but this is how it's set up. We have Flutter as the front end. We have Fast API as our API layer. And we have MySQL as the database layer. Let's put front end over here. Nice. So that's how it's currently set up. What are you using as your backend for your React and Flutter stuff? Let's head back over to the code. So I'll close this because no need for this to be open. And I'll add it in over here. Perfect. We back. So yeah, this is what I was showing you. So we have Flutter as our backend, Fast API as our API layer, and MySQL as our database. But there's other technologies also on top of this that we have to utilize for the whole application to work, right? Like I said, super token for the authentication instead of using Firebase or Superbase as your backend. So we are, remember guys, everything is self-hosted over here. And we love using free and open source technology. So everything that we speak about is free to use, definitely, and most of the time it's open source. So we're having a look at this, the rate us. So we have that. I'm thinking what? I was thinking of something else also. So edit, delete. So when we delete, we're gonna have to have a pop-up over there also, right? Asking us, do we actually want to delete something, right? And what we can use, we have another widget that we've created here at MIH. Not created, but we've extended another widget to create this widget. So over here, I will say show delete review alert, right? Let's spell the correct alert. Perfect. So that there's errors over there because we gonna have to code this now. So I'll code this at the bottom. Over here, yeah, it should be over here. So this would be void. Yo, Copilot doing the things. Look at this, and it's okay. No, it's doing nonsense inside this, so I'm not gonna use it. But it's doing the things for me. Show, delete, review alert. And then over here, it's similar beginning as this one over here. So we're gonna need this. Copy. Go to the bottom. Paste. Paste. Ah! Did not paste. Insert. Yo! Oh, let me not be lazy. I'm sorry. Show dialogue. This. And then over here, it's context. CW in brackets context, and then an arrow over here, so equals and a line. And then what we're gonna do is, you see it's even showing me over here MIH package alert. That's what we're gonna use. It's a custom wrapper widget over I think it's alert dialogue if I'm not mistaken, or just dialogue itself. So it auto added. So this is Copilot. So Aura, you can see how I'm using AI over here. So this is Copilot's autocomplete. I think that's what they call it, where it auto adds things based on my current code. So this action, nothing is defined as action, but it also gets stuff wrong, right? For some reason, it's showing action over there. Let's see what this package alert is all about. So we're gonna have the alert icon, alert title, alert body, and alert color. So alert color, let's do that first. Or did it add it in? So the alert color is already here. Delete. I want to add it to the top. I'll paste this here. Then the alert icon is the warning rounded at 100. I think I took it from my other code, so that's fine. The alert title should be delete review, correct. And then alert body. And not alert action. So what we can do over here, interesting, very interesting that it did this for us. But basically what we need to do is inside here, so I have a column, I just need to add these few things over here also. So let me go all the way down. If you're confused at what we're doing, please feel free to ask a question. There's no silly questions here. So let's delete this and go up and paste. And then we can see what Copilot did for us. Then we can just delete this. Cool. So now let's add this show delete review alert. Yo, look at the spelling. Alert. Let's save it. Now it shows us where our error is. We can just remove this. Perfect. So now when we click on the delete button, we should have a pop-up. And let's see what that pop-up does. I don't look at the buttons because Copilot did it for us. So in the cancel button, it's just gonna remove that alert for us, which is okay. In the click on delete button, it's also gonna pop it. That's perfect because we don't have the functionality for that at the moment. So we can head back over to the test, make it, yeah, I like it small like this. Yeah, so we'll head back over to the Mzansi directory, then we'll search for MIH again, switch, click, review. Now, okay, my bad. We didn't change that back to, we didn't change it back to true. Where did we use that? Business review. Yeah, business review rating. So you see we have a false over there, so that means that it's in add mode. So we want this to be true so that our menu will pop up for us. Head back over to the code, back here, back here, MIH, enter, back, sorry, switch. Yeah, so now we have edit review, we have our button. When we click on this, what should happen is we should get a pop-up. Nice. So the pop-up is there. The colors of things are not looking good, and the spacing and stuff, but that's because it was created by Copilot. So Aura, if you are still out there, this is why you wouldn't use Copilot from the beginning, because you see how it's even here, it's not doing the things. They didn't put spacing in for us. The sizing of the stuff is not the one that we normally use and things like that, right? So that's why we wouldn't use it. But it takes you 70% there, and then you have to take it the rest of the 30%, right? So it's not you just type in a prompt and then you get a fully fledged application that's already hosted on some server for you that you can push into production. It's much more complex than that. I was speaking to my girlfriend today, and I was showing her a video of someone talking about these coding, these AI coders for you, but then they never show you the application actually working. They show you the application when it's done in quotes, but then they never show you the functionality working. And this application that this person was showing us, it was a invoice management system, right? So to me, an invoice management system has to have a backend to store information and a file management to do all of these different kinds of things, right? But she just showed us the landing page and said, yo, this works perfectly fine. Didn't show us the functionality working itself or if the information was persisted. So that's why I prefer starting from scratch and then using AI as an assistant. So let's fix this alert button, right? There's a few things that we need to fix. This icon needs to change to maybe 150, make it a little bit bigger. I think this is fine over here. The colors of the buttons should change, so this should be green, cancel, and the delete should be red, but then the text on the inside should be the star color also. That's a few things that will have to change. So in order to do that, GD, down, or up, GD. So over here, so where we do this, under the size, 150. Right, the reviews, that's fine, that's standard. The text, 15. I don't know if 15 is the, what have I been using? What have I been using across MIH? Package test. I don't trust package test. Yeah, I have been using 100. And I have been using 15, yeah, okay. So those two seem fine. The colors seem fine there also. So this is fine. Why am I on this one? Oh. Let me go back here, close this. And it's all the way at the bottom where I am. Yeah. So this should be 100, right? Swap it out for a 0. Then the review, that's fine. This is also 15, which seems to be fine. Now it's the buttons. So over here, what we can do is add a const Linux OS loving the likes. I see you flooding the chat with likes. I appreciate you. So I'll put a 25 over there. That's okay. And then in between the buttons, what we should have is not just one below the other, right? It should be control dot. It should be a wrap widget. We should wrap this. Not with a row, but a wrap widget. And with a wrap widget, there's a few features. Run spacing, run alignment, wrap alignment, center. Okay, that's fine. Spacing is 10, run spacing is 10, alignment, cross-axis alignment. Okay, yeah. All the hints are done now. So now this should, thank you so much for flooding the chat with the likes. I appreciate you. Linux OS 444. Remember that name. So the cancel button, like I said, the cancel button, the color needs to change of this button, right? So over here, it needs to change to the success color. And here, this needs to change. Yo. success color. This needs to change to primary color. And then at the bottom, the error color is fine over there, back. But this one needs to change to primary color. Once we do that, save it, and then we'll have to go back. So MIH, we can switch. Now when we click on delete, things should look similar to what they look like across MIH. So if we click on this, nice. So everything is fine over here. If I were to add this in, why is my wrap not working? I know why my wrap is not working, because I didn't give my buttons a size. So what we have to do is, because now the buttons are just expanding to the edges of the wall, right? So what we need to do is, if we look at other buttons, so in the test package, not this test package, in the tools, there's buttons over here that we can steal from. Button, right? So let's see, yeah, width 300, width 300. So that's what's missing over here. Width 300. So over here, width 300. Let's yank that and go to the other one and also put a width 300. Now the wrap functionality should work. So if we head back over, MIH, enter, switch. Nice. So let's see if it is wrapping. Still not wrapping, but we'll figure it out. Don't stress about that, guys. Don't stress, we'll figure it out. Cool. So I see we are nice. It's a nice. Let me switch over to this main and then switch you over also. Then I can speak to you directly. Cool. Thank you so much for everyone for joining the live this evening. I appreciate it. Once again, thank you so much for the conversations. The questions were great. I hope my answers were also as great. I appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you so much. If you like what we did today, make sure to follow us. We're not only available on TikTok, we're also available and live on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Check us out there. Yeah, like, follow, share. Check out MIH. We are available on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and the web. You should just be able to search Mzansi Innovation Hub. MIH Live was informative. Thank you so much, Jay. And thank you so much for coming through and pulling through. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. And let's keep working hard, Mzansi.